the hell?
Excuse me. Damn. Had some quite a few technical difficulties, y'all. Forgive me. How y'all doing this morning? How y'all doing? Good morning, Freedom Marchers. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at in the world. This is Tyrus Bane. Woo! How y'all doing? How y'all doing? It's a beautiful Sunday morning. 61 degrees out here in Southern California. Southern California, which I made one more step closer. I'm one more step closer to getting the fuck out of here, y'all. One step closer. I just arranged for all my shit. Well, not all my shit, but most of my shit. Not even most of my shit. Really just my exercise equipment. You know, I have a stationary bike. I got the Peloton. I got washing machine that I'm taking. Some clothes. I got all that shit. Getting ready to get out of here. Already made an appointment for that shit to get picked up in the middle of January next year. And we be good to go, y'all. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Getting the fuck out of California, y'all. Once and for all. But how y'all doing? Well, if y'all didn't know, it's been 1 year since the Modelo 19 vasaline by Pfizer was authorized. 1 year later, cases are on the rise. Despite all the efforts to get everybody snapped, cases are on the rise. Now, what is a case? What is a case? So this bullshit. Let me tell you what. Let me tell you what's going on here. They look at this. They look at the idea that even though we've had the Vaseline roll out for about a year now, cases are rising. What that tells them is that more people need to get more Vasalines. That's what that tells them. You see, they don't operate in common sense. They operate in I don't even know what to call it anymore. They operate in asininity. I can't even come up with a word for it. 1 year. You know, 1 year. Cases on the rise. Look, there never was a need for emergency use authorization for the snap. Okay, there was never a need for it. 99.9% survival rate. When MERS was out, which has when MERS was the all the rage, 40% death rate, right? 40% mortality. If you got MERS when that was running rampant, you had a 40% chance of dying. All right, 40% chance of dying. Yet, no one scrambled to make a Vaseline for that. No one scrambled to say, hey, you know what? We need to come up with a Vaseline for the MERS. No one did that for SARS, right? No one did that for any of the swine flu, none of that. Bird flu. No one wanted to do that. No one said, hey, this shit, it's 80, 60%, 40% Ebola. No one was scrambling and panicking about Ebola. But here we have something that's novel, right? Okay, so they say it's novel so that they can tell us we don't know exactly what it's going to do. We don't know how long it's going to take to do it. We don't know what the long-term effects are. They want to be able to say all that and keep us in a state of fear, right? Because we know Ebola has been around for a long time, and when people catch Ebola, well, they get taken out pretty quickly, right? I think it's like 80% mortality rate for Ebola. By the time you realize you have Ebola, you're not going anywhere, and you're not spreading Ebola. right? Not like that. You might spread it to your whole village in Africa or whatever, but it's not going to make it past that village because no one's going anywhere. No one's traveling. You're going to be too debilitated. You're going to be bleeding from every orifice. That's what real dangerous pathogens do, right? They take you out rather quickly, to the point where you're just not going to pass it on like that. But with something like the Spanish flu, it can spread pretty far because it takes a little bit longer. It has longer incubation period. But even then, it can't get too far because at some point, if you feel sick with this thing, you're going to be at home for the most part. You're not really going to spread it like that. But with this thing right here, you won't have a choice, right? According to them, especially with the oh my God variant, the oh my God variant, well, the oh my God variant spreads so quickly that most people don't even know they have it. They have to take samples of shit in the sewage system to even understand how this thing is spread. They have to take samples of your shit in the sewage system in order to discover how many people may really have the oh my God variant, right? And it's definitely not a cause for concern. As a matter of fact, they're saying they have to admit that there does not need to be any special vasaline for the oh my God variant. And if you I watch quite a few doctors. I watch doctors who I listen, I get information from multiple different types of doctors. One doctor, even some doctors who believe that the oh my God, that believe in the danger of the Modelo 19 in general. You got those who doesn't really believe that it exists as they say it does. You got people that believe. You got doctors and scientists that believe in the lockdowns that don't. You got people that believe that it exists and that it can be harmful, but they don't believe in lockdowns. They don't believe in forced vasalines, but they believe in vasalines. They're pro Vaseline, but they don't believe that people should be forced to take the Vaseline. You understand what I'm saying? So it's good to get information from multiple different sources, as multiple different experts, and you draw your own conclusions, and then you take anecdotal reports, right? A lot of people don't want to put stock in anecdotal information, right? Oh, it's just an anecdote. It's just what that one person said they experienced. Well, that's important as well in science. You don't just go by, that's how, as a matter of fact, that's how you form hypotheses. That's how you form theories and shit like that based on observations, right? Which can be considered anecdotal observations, So that's what I like to do. And one doctor said that this might be the end of the pandemic. Omicron might end the pandemic because people will reach herd immunity that much faster. And in his mind, you will be exposed to the Omicron, right? You will be exposed to the oh my God variant. You can't avoid it, right? But it's so mild that you might not even know you have it. Some people might have very mild experience with the oh my God. Some people might have no experience, like zero symptoms, zero any. You don't even know you have it. And then that's how you spread it so fast, right? Because most people who get it are not going to experience symptoms. Their immune systems are going to shed it without any problems. And then when it sheds, of course, it goes to other people, right? So that's what happens. And that's how the Modelo 19 spread in the first place. Because so many people who had it didn't know they had it, and they were flying around, they were going around, they were hanging out with people, they were passing it on, those people were passing it on, and some people got really sick. Some people died. Some people got flu-like symptoms and rode it out for about 7 days. I had that experience, you know what I'm saying, at the end of 2019. It was a little bit more intense than any flu I've ever had, but I rode it out and I got over it. You understand what I'm saying? And so some people have that experience. And I don't consider myself to have had severe symptoms. I thought it was just, okay, well, it's all good. Lost my sense of taste and smell, had fevers, my body was aching a little bit, had some headaches, but it wasn't nothing that I couldn't deal with, right? Matter of fact, I was working, 3 hours a day. I was still going to work. You know what I'm saying? I just wasn't going around my guy, because at that point I was a general foreman and I didn't really need to be around a lot of people. So, but I would go to different job sites and all that other stuff. I was still working. I'd take my ass home after about 3 hours. I would get tired and say I would get so tired, it was ridiculous. But it was nothing. I shrugged that shit off. You understand what I'm saying? And that's probably going to be, even that is a rare thing. What I experienced, that's rare. What's most common? What's most common is most people don't even know that they have anything. That's just what it is. They don't want to tell you that. These two doctors from Bakersfield tried to tell everybody way back in the beginning of the pandemic that, even though there are 7,000 reported cases, there's probably closer to 250,000 cases in the entire state. And that was at the beginning. You understand what I'm saying? So what does this mean when they say cases? Cases are on the rise. That don't mean shit, man. That means that they're taking samples of shit. They're taking the samples of wastewater. This is what they're doing. Well, this is what they say they're doing. They say that they're taking samples of wastewater. They're taking samples of people's shit. That's what they're saying. That's what they're telling you. This is how we're knowing how many cases there are. But how do you know how many people those samples are based on? So it's just, at the end of the day, all this is bullshit. That's really what it is. All this to say that it's time to move on with our lives. It's time to behave like free individuals. It's time to tell these people, look, man, if y'all messing me with this bullshit, because even the courts have to be like, man, this shit is way overblown. These mandates, these lockdowns, they're saying they're stopping this shit, right? They're stopping it.
Onto South Centinela Avenue.
Joey B's mandates, that shit got kicked to the curb. The mandates for the military, kicked to the fucking curb. You understand what I'm saying? It's just bullshit, right? And here's some more good news. You know how they were trying to kick the guys out the military with no benefits and no honorable discharge because they didn't want to get the SNAP? Well, that got shot down too in the National Defense Authorization Act. The new one. That shit got kicked out. Come on. Because they understand that, look, these people aren't going for this shit. These mandates, you got nurses and doctors quitting left and right because they don't want to get the SNAP. But people don't understand this. People are like, oh, you're making it stressful for the healthcare workers when you don't get vasaline. No, they're stressed out because they don't want to get the Vaseline, and they're trying to force them to get the Vaseline, and they've already had the Modelo 19, and they're good. They didn't, you know what I'm saying? They survived it. They have natural immunity. They don't want to deal with it. This is why nurses and doctors are quitting. They weren't quitting like that when the pandemic started. They were doing their fucking job. They weren't saying, oh, I can't wait till the Vaseline comes out so I can turn people away who haven't gotten the Vaseline. People are still staying that stupid shit. If you don't get the Vaseline, then you shouldn't get treatment, blah, blah, blah. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, right? Because, the Clown Shoe Lucas has that stance. What a fucking idiot. That's not how it works. A lot of people pay for their health insurance, right? They pay for their health insurance, and you can't turn them away because they refuse a certain type of prophylactic treatment. They didn't want to fucking do it. You know what I'm saying? What if I want to get the monoclonal antibodies and use that as a prophylactic measure? because I haven't heard anything negative shit about the monoclonal antibodies.
About 1 mile to
I haven't. It's just real shit. I haven't heard any negative thing about monoclonal antibodies. And you can use it as you would use the Vaseline. You could use it like you would use the Vaseline. Now, it was an experimental treatment as well. But as it turns out, it's not causing the issues that these Vasalines are causing. It's not inflaming people's hearts. It's not giving people blood clots. It's not doing this, that, and the third. And speaking of alternative treatment, why aren't they telling people to get off their fat ass, their obese asses, eat right, and exercise? Why aren't they telling people that? Because there's a study that shows that the virus, just like many other viruses, that it turns out that many viruses, including the Modelo 19 virus, hides out in fat cells. It hides from the immune system in the fat cells, and it gains. You know what I'm saying? They reproduce there or whatever. What they do is they'll hide in your fat tissue, your fat cells, and hide away from your immune system and come out when they goddamn well and ready. That's what it does. That's what they're saying it does, okay, according to this research. According to this, anybody can Google it. As a matter of fact, I think I saw a Black Spring with Autumn in there. She's a hell of a researcher. I'm sure if she looks into it, she'll find out. Oh yeah, they hide in your fat cells. Just like HIV. Just like all these other motherfucking shits. And also, the more obese you are, the greater chance you have of getting the blood clots when you have Modelo 19. And imagine, it might also increase your chance of getting the blood clots if you get the Vaseline.
Next left.
But they're not gonna, like, even though they tell you in that article, the research finds that the virus hides in your fat cells. They're not gonna tell you. They didn't even tell you in the article. So it might be a good idea to exercise and lose. If you have a lot of adipose tissue, which is fat, if you have a lot of visceral fat, and this is the thing,
in a quarter of a mile,
they really like to hide in the fatty tissue around your internal organs. You see what I'm saying? So how do you get rid of fatty tissue in your organs? Exercise, right? Exercise. If you're overweight, if you're obese, go into a calorie deficit.
Your destination,
you know what I'm saying?
Is ahead on the right.
Stop eating sugar. You know, because that leads to fatty liver disease. Eating all kind of sugar and shit. There are definitely ways to combat severe symptoms and severe effects of the virus, outside of just, let's just go get the Vaseline. That's not the only method. And if there's a doctor out there telling you, the only way to protect yourself from the Modelo 19 is to get the Vaseline, then they're horrible doctors, right? They're horrible doctors, because there is no one treatment for every disease. Like they don't tell you that for any other disease, right? Like for HIV, you might have a certain cocktail of medications that you have to take, right? So listen, there are multiple ways to prevent yourself from getting HIV, right? Wear a condom, have one partner, get tested often or whatever. If you out there being reckless, I was like I was in my 20s, because I was reckless, I was reckless as hell in my 20s. So, I got lucky, but for like a broken leg, okay, it depends on how bad your leg is broken, how they treat you, right? You might just get a cast. So you might have a fracture, you might have a complete break, you might have compound fractures. So there are different treatments to deal with different types of breaks, just like the severity level of the Modelo 19. It's not going to be one treatment fits all, right? You might get the monoclonal antibodies, right? They tell you, get the monoclonal antibodies before you have symptoms that lead you to be in the hospital, right? So they want you to get the monoclonal antibodies before it gets too bad, right? Before your like oxygen level is dropping really low, all that shit. And then after that, you might get oxygen, right? You might want to avoid those fucking ventilators though. But if you get oxygen, that might help. Anyway, y'all get it. There's more than one way to skin a cat. And relying solely on the Modelo 19 Vasaline obviously is not helping, because guess why? We have a rise in cases. There's always going to be a rise in cases as long as they're checking your shit in the sewage system. You understand what I'm saying? The more virus they find in the shit, the more they can blow this thing out of proportion. And that's what they're doing. So it is what it is. And I got more shit to talk about when I leave the farmer's market. So you guys stay tuned for that. Maybe in another hour. Well, I got to go to Costco and get some packing boxes. But anyway, so after I get out the farmer's market and out of Costco, I'll get back on here. I'll talk about, as a matter of fact, I'll talk about the National Defense Authorization Act and how there are a couple things in there that changed a little bit. And we can talk about that later. We can also talk about, there's so much shit to talk about. I couldn't do my Ruckin' Live this morning because we're packing, right? We're getting ready to leave here. And so, you know, the weekends is the only opportunity I have to help basically get shit ready to go. So, yeah, I'll probably be back to Rucking next week. Well, you know, so we'll see. Much love. Like, share, subscribe. Stay tuned for another live stream in about an hour or two, maybe an hour and a half, and I'll holler at y'all later. Much love, and let's keep marching forward toward freedom. Peace.